Hey guys, Mark here. We are in the Whitebox HQ warehouse and we've just taken delivery of this new Hubb Systems racking. Now, this is a new racking range to us. It's built in Britain. It's a really good mid-range racking system, but it comes flat pack, so we've got to build it up and we're going to do it before we go on the job tomorrow, see what it's like. So yeah, it's been delivered here. It's all really nicely packed. So we've checked just as it's come in, there's no damage on there, so that's really important for us to make sure there isn't any damage. Obviously, if anything comes in damaged, then we can sign that off as that we've checked it and there is damage, and that means that we can claim on the insurance. If we don't, then pretty much we're stuck with it. So it's really important when this turns up, we do that. So what we're going to do next, we're going to unpack it and we're going to start building it up and really see what it looks like and how easy it goes together. Right, okay, so we've now got everything unpacked. We've made a bit of a mess of the warehouse here, but now we can start assembling it. So you can see we've got a special custom-made long components tray. This is going to sit on top of the racking. We've got some short shelves there. We've got some longer shelves there. We've got the uprights. So there's a load of those. We've got some of the bins and the rubber matting. Over here we've got all the velocity cases, so they're all nicely shrink wrapped. We've got another shelf there with some dividers, and finally in here we have all the nuts and bolts, so they're all nicely separated out. So the next stage for us is to start assembling. So we're going to have to look at the drawings, we're going to have to see how it all goes and start building it. Like I said, it's the first time we've done it, so let's get it together and see what it looks like. Right then guys, so we've got this kind of roundabout together. It's all in there loose, so we've got to tighten it up now. There was quite a lot of, scratchy chin, pointy moments. We were just trying to work out the height. So one of the things, there's a tray that's going to go on top of here, so that had to be the right height in order to be able to get these out. Obviously, you can't get them out. And also over here, we've got these velocity cases. Now these are going to go onto this shelf. So again, it's important that we get the height right there. And then obviously we've got the wheel arch. So when this goes in, obviously there's going to be a wheel arch underneath because this is the back right hand as we're building it. So we've had to make sure that was positioned in the right place. What we don't want to do is go onto site and find out it doesn't fit. So we're happy with all that now. We're going to tighten it up. Let's come and have a look. Let's buzz these up. This is where it all starts pulling itself together and becoming one unit now. Okay, so I've buzzed all them up. Let's just get this and check. I'm just double checking it's all looking lined up. What you don't want to get is the shelves wonky either. So yeah, just a little bit of a tweak on these. I always find, power tools are great for getting you there and for undoing as well. But really you can't get the feeling properly with them. So doing this, I know they're going to be tight. It's not going to start to shake itself loose. I mean, it shouldn't do anyway because we've got the nylocks on there. So, with a nylock nut or even spring washers, if you were using standard nut, something like this. I mean, you've got to imagine racking like we've got here in the warehouse is fine, it just clips together, but in a van it's like having racking in an earthquake zone. It's constantly twisting and shaking, so we need to make sure that it doesn't start coming apart. That stuff would just fall apart in the back of a van. And I know that because when I first started out, I had some of that kind of racking in the back of my van. And it served a purpose, but you get that awful moment when you go around the corner and you hear a crash in the back. And then you got nuts, bolts, screws, and all sorts all over the floor. So yeah, I'm happy with that now. That's all nice and solid. Now this is the, because it's the off side of the van, the driver's side. This is actually going to be a longer unit. So we got the drawings here. So we've built this section. We've got the long tray to go on afterwards. We'll probably do that on site. So now we've got to build up this section, which is the forward part, which goes behind, up to the bulkhead behind the driver. So let's get building. Right, so we've got it all assembled now. We've just put these kicker plates on at the bottom here. We're not going to attach them until they get on site because actually transporting it, they could get damaged. So that's how it's going to look. We've got all the positioning right, and it was a lot easier actually after we've done this one to get that together. So now it's just a case of putting these rubber mats on. So they all go. Love the smell of rubber. Joke. Wasn't funny though, was it? So yeah, got the rubber mats in there. That's going to stop, obviously, rattling and shaking, and obviously it also stops stuff skidding about on the shelves. Really adds a nice finishing touch to this. We'll keep them in there. Velocity cases there. Actually, I think there's some dividers to go in there as well, which we'll do in a minute. And then we've got these plastic boxes to go on here. Put that the right way around. This one we're using. And there's another one down here. Okay, yeah. So we got some dividers as well to go in there, but pretty much that's how it's looking now with the three boxes. We've got some more boxes to go on the other side as well. Got the anti-rattle mats in, so that's that side finished. We just got to get the other side together now. Right, so we've now finished building the second unit. Here it is. So this goes on the driver's side of the van between the back door and the side load door. So obviously it's a shorter unit. So on here we've got the 6 velocity cases. They're really good for all the smaller components on there. And also this shelf divider. Now we've got a load of shelf dividers to go in here. We're actually not going to install them at the moment. We'll do it when we put the racking in, because obviously the customer might not want them where we put them. It depends on the size of the items. So obviously with this one, the top shelf is up higher. Let's just quickly have a look at these cases as well, just to show you these. So I think these are really good. They've got loads of different size divider pockets in there. And I believe you just easily open like that. They can also come out if you want to take the thing out onto site as well. So it does give you, now I don't know how it goes back in, there we go. So it does give you actually quite a lot of storage, because you've got 3 of those cases on that side, and then we've got 6 on this side, plus the bins, plus the shelves. So it really takes a lot of stuff off the floor and up into the van. So the next stage for us is to go to the customer and fit this into his van. Right, we're here with the customer. So let's get parked up, go in and see him, and get the van unloaded. Okay guys, we've got everything out the van now. That's all loaded up around here. As you can see, this van's completely empty. So what we've got to do, we've got to tank out this plastic liner because we've got a wood floor going in. We're going to temporarily remove the sides so we can find all the bolt holes. If you have a look around here, you'll see the racking is all here, what we assembled yesterday. So that's all ready to go in. So we're going to start taking out the floor and the linings, and then we can get the floor in, the new floor in place, and then start marking it out ready to fit. we've got the side linings out, so we've exposed the original sort of factory fit lining. We've put the ply floor in. So this is the basic standard ply floor. We do the more grippy and harder wearing coated floors. You see at the moment, just the way the wood is, it's a bit wavy. We're not going to screw it down now because that's got to come out, but once that's screwed down, obviously that waviness will go. So the next thing we're going to do is put the racking in and start to find out where the holes are going to go for the upper brackets. So on the Transit Customs, there's already an anchor point here which we'll try and use. It depends if it lines up, and there's also another one behind this sticker. So that's got a 8mm bolt in it. Other than that, we're going to have to drill or use some of these existing holes. So yeah, next thing, we're going to get the racking in and start marking it up. Okay guys, right, so we've got the racking in here now. It's not fitted down yet. We've got to mark all the holes we're going to drill. So quite important, we've measured the distance between here and here. We've also used this line as a straight edge and across here to make sure this racking is central going down, so we don't want it wiggling. And then finally sort of take a visual look just to make sure it looks pretty good. We've also got to remember the ply lining is going to go back in, so that's going to curve around here. So that's quite important to make sure that's enough distance from there. Last thing we want to do is bolt it all down and then find we can't fit it in there. And also with the Transit Customs, if you see these check straps, I know in the Volkswagens they disappear off, but it's a bit of a pain, but they do come in, so you've got to make sure there's enough distance between there and there to be able to shut the door. The last thing you want to do is bolt all that lot in, finish the job, close the door, and it doesn't shut. So now what we're going to do, we just temporarily put these bits in so we can get a straight edge on it. So I'm now just going to mark a few of the holes in here. I'm going to go there, probably mark 3 aside. On these, if you have a look, you can see better on here. So there's a multiple of holes that you can use. So that's really, really quite handy. So if you're up against something, you've got the option to be able to mark the holes that that are going to work for you. So that's that one marked. I'm going to go on and do this one, and then we've got to have a look to see where the side brackets are going to go. We've now taken just this side of racking out. As you can see, we've marked the holes. we got the first ones in the wrong place actually, because by the time we measured up here to fit the brackets, we realised we had to move it. So there's actually 2 sets of holes there now, but that's why we measure twice, cut once, isn't it? So we've measured that out, we marked that, we know those holes are in a good place. And I've also marked where the upper brackets are going to go. Now this is sometimes a scary bit. Drilling into a side of a van, what you don't want to do is punch through. Now I know on these are quite deep, but you can always use a screwdriver through an existing hole to check. But also, I know you can get locking collars for drills, which are quite good, or some drills have a bit here to stop you. But with these, I've just put a bit of self-amalgamating tape around it, and that stops me going all the way through. So I'm just going to drill the first pilot hole. So you can see how violently that went through there, and I lost the drill because it didn't tighten up enough. But you know, they really can drag you through. So you imagine if that bit of tape wasn't on there, I could have gone all the way through and dented the side of the van. I think actually this chuck is getting a bit weak now because it does keep happening. So now I'm going to drill that out a bit more. Okay, so now we've got a good 10mm hole on there. Now these are riv nuts, or actually they're nutsert. Some places call them a riv nut, and this is a nutsert tool. So it's got an 8mm thread on it. So I can now put that in the hole, squeeze that up. Now this one was a couple of £100. You can get like air operated ones which are like £1,000, but places like Toolstation do a smaller version of this for about 30–40 quid. Really good way of making sure you secure into the metal, because there's no good securing into the wood, it's just going to pull out. So now we've got a thread that we can bolt the bracket onto later. This hole here, we're going to peel this sticker off. There's an existing hole here and we've managed to get a bracket to fit onto that, so we don't need to drill there. So really it's a case of taking the floor out now, drilling that, putting it all back in and bolting it together. Next thing we've got to do, now we've got the floor out on here, we're going to drill these holes, and then we're going to put these T-nuts in, which gives us a thread in the floor. For the observant among you will see I'm using a metal drill, which I know I shouldn't, but I've lost my wood drill for now. So I'm just going to go in slowly through here. We've got some cardboard underneath, but I'm just lifting this up. As you can see here, it makes a bit of a mess of the underside, but we can take that off. And then we've got these, which basically got some points in there and a thread, so we're going to stick that in the hole, bash them in. So if you want to look these up online again, just search for T-nuts and they'll come up various sizes. This is an M8 thread in here, so it'll take an 8mm bolt, which normally have a 13mm head. 6mm bolts have 10mm heads normally. Sometimes you get some, I don't know if it's Japanese ones, that they tend to use 12s and 14s rather than 13s and 10s. But there we go, so they're in there now. So the next thing is get the floor back in and start bolting everything down. So the next thing we've got to do, now we've got these holes in here, we're actually putting ply lining back in. You may decide you don't want to and you're just going to use that, but we're going to stick the original ply lining back in. We've now got to mark the holes for the ply, because obviously we've got to drill through it. Now sometimes you can measure off on here if it's quite easy. Sometimes there's an existing screw hole that you can measure off. One way of doing it, I do it, is to put a bolt in the hole. I'll just use a blob of grease. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have got ways of doing this. If you've got a better way of doing it, rather than me get greasy, then please leave it in the comments, let me know. But this is the way I do it at the moment, until someone tells me better. So I'll put that up there. So I want to try and line this up with the existing screw holes, which is there. And then I'm just going to give it a bit of a push, and as you can see on there, we've now got two nice greasy marks which we can drill through and then put back on, and then everything can go back in. So I'm using this cone drill now to make sure those holes are big enough, because we want a big enough space to not only get the bolt through but any washers we might need in to pack it. So now we've got those nice greasy marks. Get it in straight. That's now ready to put back up in the van. So let's lift that up. So we'll drop that in, lined up with the holes. As you can see, we now got the two bolt holes. So all we need to do is screw this in, and then we can start lifting stuff in and fitting it. So we've got this installed now. That's the first bit of racking. We've still got to do this side. So you can see we've got the velocity cases in here, and we've got the shelf in here. The bracket's now firmly affixed to there. We bolted through the floor. I mean, that's solid. That is now joined to the van. So this being crash tested, in the event of an accident, it's not going to come off and go flying forward. That's why I said earlier on, don't fix to the wood. It'll just rip out. And even if you don't have an accident, you'll go around the corner one day and it'll tip over. So it's really important to go into the metalwork here. I've even found some of those roofing screws. They're good for the floor, but on here, they just end up pulling out, so it's not worth using them. So really, that is the only method I've found that works really well. So what we've got to do now, get on and fit this side. Okay guys, that's it, that's us done. It's just about starting to rain here, and I think we got it done just in time. But here it is, it's all installed, nice and solid. We've got the brackets in, it's bolted to the floor, it's not going to go anywhere. You've got the velocity cases here, so there's, what is there, 6, there's 9 of these cases altogether. Nice storage system in there. And we've also got the lin bins up the top. So yeah, there it is. Take a look and enjoy. Enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos on everything van and trades related. If you've got anything you'd like to know, please put questions in the comments, and thanks for watching.